welcome back to Anastasia Chorna's show. My name is Anastasia Chorna, and by popular demand, I would like to talk to you about my military experience. It is true, I am officially a U.S. Army veteran, even though I was born and raised in Russia and I came here with a Russian citizenship. And yeah, let's get started. There were two main reasons why I even considered joining the military in the first place. And the first reason was that I had been in the States for 3 years at that moment, and I had already received my green card, but I wanted to be a citizen. And I wanted to expedite the process as much as possible because I knew that for me to even start the paperwork to be naturalized as a citizen, I would have to wait 5 years from the moment I received my green card to even apply for the citizenship, to even start the process. And I didn't want to wait. I wanted to make sure that I am a naturalized citizen as fast as possible because I was on an agenda of bringing my parents who were about to retire and provide a better life for them. So I didn't want to wait. And the reason number two was that I actually was thinking about working for the government. So I made this 10-year plan for myself, and the military kind of fell into it. I learned that I could join the military and kind of be in the civilian sector and at the same time serve in the reserves, which would require me to drill once a month and still live in the city where I lived and still be able to pursue my career goal and my life goals and not be dedicated to the military 100% of my time, and at the same time receive all kinds of the perks, meaning naturalization and tuition assistance and other benefits. I ended up joining the military in 2013. I swore off. I did the oath in August 8th of 2013, and by the end of the year I believe I went off to the basic training, and yeah, that's how I joined the military. I can't say that it is an easy task. It is more mentally exhausting than it is physically exhausting, for sure. It's tough because everybody is always screaming at you. That's probably the toughest part of that. I was in a way lucky to join the military when I did because I was in basic training during winter time, and we didn't really do much of the physical activities that you would normally do during basic training because it was so damn cold outside. So a lot of that time was spent indoors. I cannot say that I was treated differently being a woman or being Russian. The only difference in the expectations and the demand between men and women in the military is the requirements for passing the PT test. Still, it is serious business, it is a serious job, and your first job, as they say, no matter what you choose, is being a soldier. If you're wondering if it's true that you receive your citizenship through the army and the military, it is true. If you join the military, you will receive your citizenship by the end of basic training, which is 2.5 months for the army. You will not have to do anything, you will not have to pay anything. The only thing though that you will have to do is sign a couple of papers and pass the citizenship test. The day before your graduation from basic training, they will hold a ceremony for those who joined on the green card, and it will be a naturalization ceremony, which was so beautiful. Did I have to surrender my Russian citizenship? I did not. And that is one thing that you have got to consider and research, whether your country allows for dual citizenship or not. There's different types of contracts that you sign. Well, you sign one contract, but there's different types of contracts that are available out there, and depends on many factors, one of them being whether it's active duty or you're joining reserves or coastal guard. The length of the contract will be different. It will also depend on the type of the job that you are taking on in the military. My contract was 6 years active reserves and then 2 years inactive. So for 6 years, I was to drill on the monthly basis, which means that I would have to show up at my unit for 2 days out of a month. That was the terms of my service. And that is for 6 years. And then after the rest of the month, I'm at home doing my civilian job, pursuing my goals and dreams, and doing all the stuff that civilians do. And then for 2 days out of the month, I would be at my unit, serving my country. And then after 6 years were to be over, I would be on 2 years of inactive service, which pretty much means that if something was to happen, if the military was to go into war, then I would probably receive my orders to be commissioned to go overseas to the war zone, or whatever the case is. That's just hypothetically. Every single job that you are able to get would have some kind of a code. So for me, my job in the military was 92 Sierra, and I was a part of a quartermaster unit, which means that we were providing support. Quartermaster means support to the main troops. Support would include jobs like mechanics and electricians and people who would run shower and laundry units, for instance, right? So 92 Sierra is a shower and laundry specialty, which meant that in the case of us being in the field, I, among other 92 Sierras, would be in charge of setting up and running shower and laundry units. No, we did not do anybody's laundry and we did not shower people. We were in charge of setting up the units. And to tell you what, those shower units are huge. You would expect something like, you know, regular shower or regular laundry machines, right? Dryers and washer and dryer that you would see anywhere and where you live, right? But no, they are huge. They are truck-sized, enormous units that you would have to run. If you do join the military, make sure that no matter what business you go to, ask for a discount. Do I recommend joining the military? Well, it's yes and a no answer from me, because you will definitely have to consider that for yourself. Do the proper research, make sure it is something for you, weigh in all pros and cons, because it is a serious business. It is a serious job and it is very demanding even after basic training, and they will require your 100% dedication. It comes with benefits, but at the same time with a demand and what you have to sacrifice sometimes for the military, it might not be worth it for you. So here are the requirements that you need to join the military. First and foremost, you have to be either a US citizen or you have to have a green card already. When I joined in 2013, they still allowed people right out of college with student visas ending soon to join the military. Right now, as far as I know, it's not an option. I wasn't able to find that information, so chances are they have removed that as an option. Second requirement is you have to be between the ages of 18 to 39. Here's the thing, if you're 17 and you want to join the military, you're able to do that if you can get your parent or guardian to sign a paper for you that allows you to join, that pretty much says that they are okay with you joining. Also, there is an age limit depending on what branch of service you are joining. For instance, you cannot be older than 28 years of age if you're joining the Marines, and you can be up to 39 years of age if you are joining the Army. You will also have to have a high school diploma or GED certification, and then you will have to pass the ASVAB test, which is Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test, which is basically a basic knowledge test. So if you are straight out of high school, you'll probably get a higher score on that ASVAB test, which the higher the score, the more options that you get. And the last thing that you'll need to pass is the medical and the physical exams, which you will be taking at the MEPS office before you swear in. So, if after listening to all of this and watching this whole video up until this point, you're like, I think this is something I want to look into and maybe it's something for me. Here are the steps that you need to take. First, make sure you do tons of research. Make sure you weigh in all of the pros and cons, because like I said before, military is a serious business and it has to definitely do with lots of risks. You have to make sure that you are ready for all the risks, and you have to make sure that you are ready for this commitment, because it is definitely a huge commitment join the military for whatever the contract that you join for. The second thing, after you do all of that research, you've got to go to a recruiter office. Depending on what kind of a branch you're considering, you've got to make sure to go to every single recruiter for that branch of service. Recruiters are very helpful with getting you all the information. They will answer all of your questions, but they're salesmen, which means that their job is to make sure that you actually sign the contract. Also, another thing, which is a nice cherry on top of that cake, is a signing bonus. For instance, the reason why I chose 92 Sierra, the shower and laundry, was not only because my ASVAB score was low, but also because it had a signing bonus, which means that basically at that time military needed more people and not jobs, so it was their incentive to get people to sign. My bonus was 10 grand. 10 grand! So yes, I signed that and it was a no-brainer for me. You don't receive all the money right away. You receive pretty much half of it by the time you are done with basic training, and then you receive a quarter of that after a couple of years, and then after 2, I want to say, years after that, you will receive the rest of the money. Make sure that you ask the questions about how that's going to be allocated for you and when you're going to receive the payout and what kind of a payout you will receive, because the money is different. It's not always 10 grand. Depending on the job, it can be more or less. It can be more. Yes, so make sure to ask the recruiter if there are any jobs that military is hiring right now that do come with a signing bonus, so that you don't miss out on another opportunity to make money. You will have to go to MAPS office next, which is a military intake processing center, where you will spend about a day or two depending on the situation, and you will take your SVAP test over there at the computer. You will take the physical and medical exams over there. You will sit down with a career counselor to look over the contract that you will be signing, and you will swear into the military when you're done with all of that. And once you're done with that, you leave the MAPS office, you wait for your orders to go to basic training. It can be anywhere from 2 weeks to a year, depending again on the contract and the terms of your joining the military. And then you go to basic training. Again, it will depend on the branch of service how long you will be in basic training. After the basic training, you will go to AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training, where you will learn all about your job. You will be trained to do your job and perform it correctly. And again, it will depend on the contract and the type of a job that you take on, how long you will actually be in AIT. And it can be anywhere from 6 weeks up to a year and a half, maybe even 2 years, again, depending on the job. And ask your recruiter about all of that. The good news is that the time that you spend in training, from basic training up until you graduate from AIT, is going to be considered the time toward your contract. Does military pay well? Well, it really depends. It really depends on your contract in terms of whether you are enlisted or if you're an officer, which is probably a completely different video at this point, because it's a lot to talk about. But it will also depend on your rank, and it will depend on other factors. For instance, if you're married, you will receive pay not only for yourself, but you will also receive pay for your spouse. You will also most likely receive pay to cover your rent or mortgage at the time of you being in basic training. There's other perks dependent on the contract, dependent on your situation, and you definitely have got to talk to your recruiter about all of those things. One of my favorite memories from being in the military was my birthday during basic training, when we got to do the obstacle course and I got to lead the platoon. But another thing that I wanted to share with you, it's a bit of a proud moment for me, was my AIT and the way I graduated AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training. This is actually the training that you receive specifically for your job. Actually, for the 92 Sierras, at that time specifically, there were 3 different perks that you were able to kind of get. I got 2 of them. I'm so proud of it. First of all, I graduated top of my class. So I have this little award I'm gonna show it to you. This is the emblem for the quartermaster. See, it says presented for excellence because I graduated top of my class. And then another thing, my second award that I received when I graduated AIT was a George Watson Award. Super freaking exciting. I had to do a test for it. In a way, I had to perform in front of the jury, which was the top of the leadership of our battalion. I joined the military as private first class, which is the third from the bottom rank. Because I had a lot of college credits, I was able to not start with just like the most basic private. And for me to get the higher rank, which is a specialist, I would have to wait for a year before I was able to apply. But what happened, because of my awards that I received when I graduated AIT, they wrote a letter of recommendation to the unit that I would get assigned to rank me up to the specialist without me having to wait for a year, which comes with, you know, a little bit more responsibility and a little bit better pay. Oh wow, it got dark outside while I was recording this video. It's a lot of information. I hope at least some of it was useful. If you learned something new, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, if you're new over here, and comment in the section below to let me know if there's something that you have questions on for me to answer further, and let me know if you're considering joining the military. Thank you for watching until the end. I will see you in the next video.